What is the best thing about living in Houston?
I think one of the best things about living in Houston is the fact that it's such an attractive village and it's set in a rural setting. I think the people are extremely friendly in Houston. I think there's a great sense of community as well, and tapping into that community and feeling as though you're part of it is tremendously rewarding. Lovely environment with lovely people.
The scenery.
There's loads of good places to walk your dog.
There's plenty of places for a kick about with your pals.
Even though it's a small village, there's still loads of things you have access to, like doctors, dentists, the co-op, things like that.
There's good schools.
All faiths and none working together, especially our two churches, St Fillan's and the Houston Kilellan Kirk, works incredibly closely together.
Definitely the community, friends and family, amazing.
The surrounding area, the beauty of the countryside, the nature all around, the sense of being in an old village as well with a lot of history, and the sense of community as well.
Houston has a huge sense of community and it's very close-knit.
The best thing has to be the sense of community that you get. That has to be top of the list.
Strong sense of community, and people of all ages try to work together. For instance, look at the streets, look at the care of the flower beds and the pavements around the village. It's a sense of a community that works together.
Who do you think are Houston's local legends these days?
Houston Community Council. Anybody that gives their time free of charge to help the village and keep it nice and well maintained and do things for us that we maybe don't have time to do ourselves, they have to be the ones that get the plaudits.
The witches. I think the witches have always been legends. But else the States, I think they're a bit legendary around this area.
The Houston Kilellan Church have done so much in recent years to add to the sense of community in Houston. I think they deserve a lot of credit because they run all sorts of initiatives which bring people together, including the men's shed and the drop-in places that they run, and also they've recently brought in the food bank. All these things add to the sense of community that I think is so important and that people enjoy being part of this community.
Reverend Gary Noonan, because he's the minister within the community.
Jenny and Grant Mason, because they're the directors of Pace Youth Theatre.
Arlene McKinnon, because she runs the Carrick.
Alex Scott, another one family, been involved at Houston for hundreds of years in terms of the farm where he was, and his knowledge of Houston as well is phenomenal. And then
Marion Dawson merits a mention as somebody who's lived for so long in Houston. Just
Mrs Dawson, who is a member of the congregation right until COVID. She was at church every single Sunday and was at the Guild every other week, but when you visit her, she's always smiling. She's always got stories to tell of older men.
Mrs Dawson, because she's the oldest living woman in Scotland.
Mrs Dawson is a legend of Houston, whom I've met many times, because she can go back away to the 1920s to maybe my predecessor but 7. Can you imagine 8 parish priests of St Fillan's she's known? And what a great friend. Although she's a member of the Kirk, she's been an immense friend of St Fillan's parish and the community here at St Fillan's. So
Sandy McIntosh, just a true Houston legend.
Be happy, because their Midas touch transforms Houston and makes it so distinct. There's something different in Houston because of their energy, enthusiasm and commitment to the community, and they appreciate their work very much.
Some community people like Jake Fulton and Be Happy Group, the work they do to keep the place looking great, and just dedicate their time to litter pick, keep the place looking colourful and tidy. I think it's really important. I think that keeps the spirit of a place up, so the groups like that as well are really important.
Jake Fulton, the guy who does the Be Happy and the litter picking, seen the impact of what he does. It's very visual, you can feel it, and when you see a group of people out together volunteering, then for me I think he would be one of the heroes.
Jake Fulton, who runs Be Happy.
Oh, there's so many legends of Houston. I think there's so many people here that have been here their whole lives and have experienced old Houston and present Houston and have made such a foundation for such a lovely place. And I think those are the legends of Houston.
Everybody, I think, is a hero in their own way. The neighbour that looks out for the neighbour next door, the people who work in our shops, the chemists, the doctors, everybody kind of plays a part and probably maybe don't see themselves as being as important, but I think they are.
What's your favourite place in Houston and why?
Strathclyde Tennis and Squash Club, because I played tennis for 14 years and it involves the wider community.
The Witches, because it's a good place to socialise with the rest of my year and it gets passed on from 6th year to 6th year.
Favourite places? Houston Inn.
The Fox and Hounds, because it's got great food, great atmosphere, and it's great on days like the Houston Music and Beer Festival where everyone can socialise together and have a good time.
Fox and Hounds, I'd have to say the other pubs as well, the Houston Inn and the River Inn, and Joy being there. I feel as though they contribute to the sense of community that we have in this village, and I feel as though it's very strong and I like it.
The church and halls, because there's so many activities on there, are a focal point of community, and I think that's really important. So for me, the church and halls, but it's because it's that focal point of community, not just for the church services on a Sunday, but there's so many youth organisations use them and community groups that it's just that focal point for community, and it facilitates community by allowing people to come together in a place that's safe, big enough, and gather. So I think that's really key in terms of the village for the whole community.
But also the church, it has to be the church, because I was brought up in the church, went to Sunday school here, was married here, my children have all been christened here, so it's a focal point for me.
Ardgrife, because that's where everyone used to go during the summer and jump in the river.
Rivergrife, because I grew up right behind that and I like walking down by the Rivergrife.
The woods by the oil fields, because I used to go there a lot when I was a kid and make dents.
This bit of woods across from Curly. Even though it's quite a busy area, when you're in there, it's almost like you've escaped the rest of Houston, a little treasure.
I love all the green space in Houston. There's so much lovely green space and so many nice places to take your children for walks and places to walk your dog. Walking through the woods with the kids, it's really nice, it's so peaceful, it's quiet. We're very lucky to have what we've got around us.
The War Memorial at the end of the main street on the Barracan Road, which is such a sacred place in Houston, but it's in such a magnificent, beautiful setting where the sun goes down behind it, and we recall the words at the going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember them.
And how would you sum up the Houston community?
Really good community spirit. I think they generally care for each other. They'll look out for folk. And I think that was exemplified during COVID actually, when people couldn't get out and about, and even in the church here when we were doing like shopping and prescriptions for people, members of the community were phoning to volunteer with us to go and help other folk. So I think that's been helpful, caring, looking out for each other, and I think there's just a kind of warm atmosphere when you're out walking about and stuff. So I think that sense of community, I think, is what I would really stress is the best part of it about Houston, and sort of identifies it as a community.
The Houston community is strong in its traditions. There's a strength in the tradition and the togetherness of the community present.
I think they're quite passionate about their village. I think they really care. It's a community-focused village. There are groups for all types of people, the new mums, the older people, the people who enjoy crafts, the people who enjoy walking, the people who enjoy contributing. It's a village that cares. It's a caring village.
It's a very close-knit community. It's we do all very much try and help each other. There's no door that you can't knock on. If somebody fell and tripped outside your house, you could knock on the first door that you saw and somebody would be there to help you. It's particularly even with the event of the internet and Facebook and everything, everybody is on these platforms and they're all helping each other. You see lost cats and adverts out and everything. It's just a really nice place to live.
Loyal, helpful, very kind. I love the community here.
I think it's just a lovely place to stay. I always will think of Houston as my home.
Supportive.
Tight knit.
Historic.
Friendly.
The place to be.